Phoenix, Arizona.
Jon, what the fuck going on? Royal Life Productions in this motherfucker.
So how long you been doing music?
Yeah, I've been doing music since I came out the womb. Both my parents were professional singers, so I've been singing my entire life. As soon as I could talk, they were trying to teach me to sing. And I've been producing and coming out with my own music for just over a year.
How old were you when you did your first song?
I think I wrote my first song with an acoustic guitar when I was 15. But my first song that was like fully produced and released was a year and a half ago.
How old were you when you first hit the booth?
I think the first time I stepped in a booth and started recording was when I was 15. It wasn't for my song. I was recording vocals for a feature for someone else's song, but I think my first time in a studio recording was when I was 15.
So where did you get your name from?
So, the name Cypert is actually a family name that's been passed down for 7 generations in my family. So my grandpa's name is Vernie John Cypert Abbott, and my name is Jon Cypert Abbott. So it's been a family name for generations, and we've never been able to find a meaning for it. It's just been kind of a family heirloom that we passed down, so I'm trying to give it some meaning.
So being a singer, is there a difference between you now and you back then?
And like my style?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there definitely is. I used to be more of an acoustic, kind of vibey songwriter, but now I've moved into the electronic EDM world, so my style is more upbeat, more powerful.
So how long did it take you to learn the guitar?
I mean, I would never say that I'm a good guitar player, but it took me probably 2 years to learn the guitar to the point where I could write music. What up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good.
Special guest in the building.
So who influenced you to the singer?
I think my singing style is highly influenced by Quinn, but he's more what's influenced me recently. I think my original inspiration was honestly like Justin Timberlake, Sam Smith, a lot of higher range classically trained vocalists that started doing pop music. I think those are my original influences.
So have you had your voice trained, or you just woke up one day and said, I want to be a singer?
I have, yeah. For the first like 10 years that I was singing, it was just my parents, but they've both been classically trained for 30 plus years. So that was like where I got a good foundation, and then all through high school I had tons of vocal training, and I still have off and on vocal training to keep my voice in shape, but yeah, for the most part it was those developmental years and then 4 years of just high school vocal trainers.
So in Phoenix, what are you doing to get your music out there?
I mean, anything I can. Whenever I have a new release, I put up flyers everywhere that I can. I hit up other local influencers and friends, and I mean, growing up here, I have a huge fan base, friend group here. You know, I know people all over the valley, so getting them all to listen to my new drops, it definitely helps getting the word out all the way around the valley. And then, as much as I can, trying to get into local shows, go and support other local artists. Yeah, just trying to show up anywhere I can.
You know, that's pretty good. You know, most artists I interview say it's kind of hard for friends and family to listen to their material because they don't believe in them.
It definitely is that way to an extent. I mean, I'm blessed to have a family that's musical, but obviously I don't make music that my family wants to listen to. They like classical music, and I make harder electronic music, so I wouldn't say that my family like has me on their playlist necessarily, but they're definitely supportive enough that when I drop something, they make sure they tell their friends about it, you know.
So we're going to take it from there. So what category can you put your music in?
EDM, future bass. So I make, I'm within those genres, I'm a little all over the place. I like to make a variety of different sounds. But I would definitely say I fall under the EDM, like Zed, Millennium, Marshmello type music. where it could almost be considered as pop, but it definitely hits a little bit harder.
So you go to a lot of raves?
I do go to a lot of raves, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
man. Decadence, Crush, anything I can get my hands on. I love going to those.
Have you been on stage show rave?
I haven't yet. I definitely want to get on stage at one of those events soon, but I haven't had a chance to.
What does it feel like to be on stage?
It's addicting. It is 100% addicting. It's just like, it's a rare opportunity, especially as a younger artist, to have people interact with your music and you see what that looks like in front of you. You know, you can see tons of stats on Spotify, Apple Music, but you don't know like what the actual reaction to your creativity is. You know, you don't know how this track that you slaved over for 6 months actually is hitting in people's cars, and you don't know how they actually feel about it. So being in a place where you can perform it in front of people, and you know, either see them bang their heads up to it or see them kind of stand around and go, okay, you know, one, it gives you a chance to gauge, you know, okay, this is working and this isn't, and it helps you kind of hone what you need to focus on. But I love it, man. It's addicting to get on stage in front of people and hype up a crowd and see them go crazy for music.
So have you had any funny moments on stage?
Yeah. So the show I performed in recently, they had a good sound setup, but it was weird because every artist brought, all EDM artists, we play from a mixing board, right? We're all DJs, so everyone brought their own board, and we all had different plugins to their sound system. And it was working okay because we had tech guys that hooked everything up, but mine had a unique plugin compared to the other ones. So we had the last minute run and get just a different adapter. So I didn't have a sound check. I had no idea if my board was going to work when I plugged it in. So I got on stage, they gave me a thumbs up, I pushed the button, plugged it in, and I hit play, and it worked. And I was like, cool. But about 10 minutes in, there was a glitch with the connection. It only happened for a second, but it happened very abruptly, and the music just stopped for a second. And I was so lucky that it happened on the beat of something, because then when it came back in, I just played a sample, and it just sounded like I did a little beat cut, and then I dropped it back in. It was literally the most lucky clutch thing that could have happened, but it was wild, yeah. The way I format all my music, so most electronic music doesn't have a lot of vocals behind it. It's not like hip hop or most pop music where like it's mainly about the vocals and the story that's being told. I'm trying to change that. I think that all music should be a way where you can express yourself both through the vibe of the beat and through the vocals. So all my songs are filled with lyrics, and they're always about either struggles or, you know, that rare time when you get out of the struggles and life's good, you know. When people listen to my lyrics, I think they see a combination of struggles and how to get out of them. Life's real. We all deal with shit, and I think it's cool if we can talk about the hard times and vibe with a good track that talks about that. And then in the next song on the track, you know, you hear lyrics about getting out of it and life's good now. So I think just being real, because a lot of EDM music is just super happy-go-lucky, you know. Everyone's at raves and they're rolling and they're like, oh my gosh, this is surreal. But I like to write real lyrics about tough stuff.
So if somebody can go through your phone, what kind of music they'll find?
A little bit of everything. I grew up listening to rock from like 5th to 8th grade, and I still love rock. I also listen to a lot of hip hop, a lot of R&B. Right now, you'd find a majority of electronic music just because I'm always listening to other people's stuff, trying to get new ideas, just hear what's out, hear what's popping. I think if you're in a certain genre, you should listen to a lot more of that, just so you can stay in touch with, you know, all the different sounds that are out there, all the different vibes. I think that's a huge part of staying in touch with whatever genre you're in. But besides that, I mean, you would find a little bit of everything. I love rap. I listen to a lot of. I don't listen to mumble rap. Mm-hmm. I listen to a lot of like Hopsin, Joyner Lucas, Eminem. I listen to a lot of music like that. I love NF. I love how, you know, a lot of these guys can take stories and put them into lyrical form, and you know, you hear these songs, you're almost just imagining the story that they're telling in the background. I love that. hip hop and R&B are probably my two biggest that you hear outside of electronic music. It's different in the sense that electronic music is, style-wise, it's a lot easier to not have lyrics in it and focus on the beat and just make the beat hit really hard. When you incorporate vocals, it becomes a lot more of a structural issue. You know, like when you're building up to a drop, there's not a lot of room for vocals usually, so it just becomes a task at like structuring the song correctly so that you have the moments where it's really centered on the vocals, and then you also have a way to rip away from the vocals and focus on the beat for a second. So yes, it is a bit of a task to incorporate vocals into electronic music, but I think it's something that I'm learning how to do better every day, and I think it's worth it. You know, I think lyrics are worth focusing on. You can find me on all platforms as Cypert. Instagram cypert.official. Yeah, if you look up CYPERT on almost anything, you'll be able to find me.
So you know when most people hear Cypert, they think about Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
Like always smoking.
Yep.
Do people tell you that a lot?
I've heard it a couple times. It's not something that comes up a whole lot. The question I get more is just, where did that come from? Where did you get that? And what's interesting is Cypert actually it's majority a family name. Like it used to be a surname. Like if you look it up on Wikipedia, Cypert's a surname. So it's kind of cool that it doesn't have a whole lot of meaning other than a family name. So probably Jon Paulien. I've watched hours of documentaries of him making music, and just his ability to sit down and go, and he makes that a kick. He puts a microphone right here, that's his kick. Like he walks around the studio and comes up with random noises and incorporates them into this unique style of music. And I would just love to work with someone that's so open to just doing random stuff and coming up with this super unique sound. I love that, and yeah, I definitely want to work with Jon Paulien.
You know, we gotta give a shout out to like Talkcast Studio.
Big facts.
We got Not a Kid up in the building. We got Fanatic. So how do these guys help you get your music out there?
Dude, they've been helping me get my name out there. They connected me with some artists in California and here in Phoenix. Helped me book some shows. They get my name out there, bro. Hitting up people that, you know. I think what's cool too is like I walked in here, showed them a track, and that night they were already like, yo, we love this. Like, how can we help? You know, some great guys that really care about music in general.
So you know that's the problem with most artists. They can put out as much music as they want, but if you don't have any visual, a lot of people won't see your work. So do you have a lot of visual that people can look at?
I have some. I have a lot more coming with my next project. I didn't have a lot of... So, I gotta rewind a little bit. So, I decided to commit to the electronic genre a year ago. So, my previous projects were all kind of electronic pop, kind of like Chainsmokers, that kind of stuff. And I really decided to be an EDM artist a year ago and stick to that. So I've been focused mainly on getting the album I just released. I focused on getting that out, making sure it was polished and perfect. I wanted to make sure I had a catalog of stuff for people to listen to when they found me on platforms. And then I think visuals are now my next step in, you know, really building who I am as an artist. So that's definitely the next step. But as of right now, most of my visuals are just Instagram, album art, stuff like that.
So how can an EDM artist get visual out there because you're not using your vocals? Right. So is it mainly on stage or you're in your room?
Yes. I think with almost anything you can take any sound that you hear and you can almost visualize something of it. And like personally, when I start putting out music videos, I went to film school for a year, and so I have like a other passion for video production. So when I think of music videos, I'm always thinking like, how can I take these sounds that I've created or these vocals that I put into a song and create a visual that will really help people connect with it better. Mm-hmm. So whether that's just like completely crazy visuals that are completely CGI, not actually practically filmed, Whether it's that or whether it's, you know, I just wrote a song about heartbreak and it's just, you know, it's a simple music video, you know, showing the story that I'm telling. There's a wide variety of ways that you can make visuals for that kind of stuff. It's just, you have to sit down, get in your zone, just like you do when you make music, and just get in your creative flow.
So how do you get in the mindset of making your music?
Dude, it's different every day. There's 2 or 3 of my songs that I wrote because I was driving around with some friends and someone said something and it really impacted me, and I was like, oh. Pulled out my phone and I wrote down 5 to 10 lines, which when I got home and had some private time, you know, I was still on that high of hearing that phrase or that story. It just drained out of me. I had a song done in, you know, an hour. And there's times where I'll have thought of this idea for a while and I just don't have lyrics for it yet. I just sit down in my room, I get a drink, I sit there, and I watch videos, I watch other people's music videos. I just watch all these different things that kind of stimulate that area of my brain. So like, I'm working on a track right now with someone about how ununified our world is right now in politics, race, like just everything. And like, I want to write a song that's about everyone coming together. Like, we're all humans on the same planet. We should all be loving each other, hooking each other up. Like, what's up with us right now, you know? And I've wanted to write that song for a while, and I finally finished it a week ago, but it took me 6 months. It was 6 months of me just really making sure that I was completely educated on everything that was happening, studying up, you know, watching interviews, all this stuff. I mean, as much as you can be. You know, a lot of it ends up being opinion-based, so a lot of that for me was like really investigating like what's going on, what is causing all this stuff. And then for me, when it was time to write the song, it was sitting down and watching some of those things that, through that process of educating myself, really like hit me, where I was like, dude, that's not good. You know, all those videos, I really sat down and I watched all of them back to back. I hit play on the instrumental, and it just came out. You know, you have to emotionally stimulate yourself and motivate yourself based on whatever you're writing about. You can follow me on Instagram at cypert.official or on Spotify at Cypert.
Okay, are we good?
Cool. Thank you so much for having me.